Hello, today I will show you how you can actually verify your email address by OTP. Here you can see when we have registered a student, we have given them a email ID here, but we have not actually verified any of this email ID. So someone can actually give a wrong email ID, or they can actually simply give some characters here instead of giving a proper email address, but we have not checked them. So today I will show you how you can check them and verify them with the help of a one-time password or OTP. So for that reason, we will actually create another column after the email column and then press go. The column name will be status, and the status can be 0 or 1. If the status is 0, then we will not let that user log in into their account. After that status turn 1, we can let them enter their account or log in into their account, and that will happen after they verify their email ID by the OTP we have sent in their email. So there you go. Initially the status will be 0. And it will actually turn on after we verify the account. So here let's go to our sign up page. This is our sign up page, and here inside this student site sign up page or student site registration page, let me just open it again. So this is the okay, this is actually the common library page, not this one. We need to actually open the student site registration page. So it is inside the library, then go to the student folder and then the registration.php page. Okay, so here we have two sections, one for admin and another for student. So we will actually modify the one for student registration. So here inside the query, we need to actually give another option after the email, and here the value will be 0 initially. Then we will actually, you can see that we can actually give any character because we have given the type as text. You can see if I write again for a student, you will see that I will be able to register with a with some characters instead of an proper email. Here you can see I have given some random characters here, and now when I register, you will go to the table and see that this is actually registered as the email, but this is not any email ID. So for checking that, we need to actually change the type. So the type will not be text, it will be email instead. So they will actually check if there is any @ in this email ID. So then they will understand that this is an email. So let me just check again. This time also I will give some random characters, but you will see that we are getting an notification or a small message that we need to actually give a email in a format where the @ will be in the middle. Let me just give it like that, and then a phone number, and let's sign up. There you can see it include an @ in the email address, so it is actually missing. So by actually changing the type of from the text to email, we can actually verify if there is any @ in that email address or not. And then after this, after registering it, we will send them an OTP to their email. So let's work on that part. After this one, we are going to create an OTP, and you can see that this OTP is a one-time password that will be generated randomly. And for that reason, we will create another table to actually save these OTPs before sending them to their email address, so that the person can actually verify by matching this data with this table. So here there will be 3 columns: username, OTP, and the registration date. So I'm giving it as r_date, and all 3 of them are character type. This date that I am actually saving, and this is actually because you can actually differentiate between today's date and this date if you want to actually delete this data from the table after 2 days or something. They have to actually verify their account within some amount of time, and for that reason I have given that date. You can use that date like I have shown you previously in the previous video, that how to differentiate between 2 dates using the date difference function. Okay, so now here is the OTP, and we will give it randomly. So the rand function is here, and there will be 2 range from minimum to maximum. So all the OTPs will be actually between 10 to 100, And now if I actually click on it, okay, you cannot actually see it here because there are so many things in this page, but let me just create another new page and let me show how this works. Okay, so I need to actually create another page called verify, and that will be inside the library folder, not inside the student folder. So let me just go back. So inside the library folder, we will create the verify.php file. And now here we are going to actually start our PHP. And then here inside this we are going to actually create our OTP and then echo this to see how this is changing. This time this will be verify.php, and okay, we are actually inside student folder, but we need to go to the library folder. Now you can see the OTP, and after refreshing every time, you can see this value changing from 10 to 100. Sorry, yeah, 10 to 100, and we need to actually give them some 5-digit OTP, and that is why I'm giving from 10,000 to 19,999. So this value will change among these 5-digit values. And now we need to do, what I need to do is we need to actually use them to actually insert into that verify table inside our database. So here we are going to write that query. All of these are actually happening if we actually press on the sign up button, and they actually check for the username. If there is no username with the same username that user have inserted into that registration table, then we can actually run all these queries. The first one is for sign up and the second one is for the OTP. So here insert into verify, values will be, there will be 3 values. The first one will be actually the $_post username variable, and then the one is OTP, so we are going to give $OTP, and then there will be the date of today's date, so we are going to give it $date variable, and then we need to actually declare what this variable is. So here the date function, inside this the format will be year, month and date. So this date will be actually inputted inside this table. And now after this, what we need to do is we need to send this OTP via the email to the user. So first let me just check. Okay, so here you can see that after actually getting all this, we are going to send them to the verify page instead of the login page, because we need to actually verify first, then we can actually log in, otherwise we cannot log in. Or we also need to actually add that condition inside our login page so that they cannot enter inside this if the status is 0. So first let's work on this one. We need to include the navigation bar page. So this is a 0, and that login condition will be actually inside the library folder login page. So let's go to the login page inside library folder, and then we are going to add that condition. So here you can see one is for admin login, we don't need that, we need this one. This else condition is for student login. Let me check again. This is the if condition and this is the else condition. Yes, we are actually in the correct option here. You can see now when the password and the username matches, when it doesn't match they show this option, but in this else condition this actually means that the password has matched with the username from our database. So we are actually creating this session variable, and also we are sending them to the profile page. So here we are going to add another if condition before we actually create this session variable and send them to the profile page, and that will be actually checking the status. And you can see we don't need to write another query because we have already pasted the data inside this $row variable in this query $result. we have fetched all the data from that student table by using that username and password we have given inside our form. Okay, so here you can see that if the $row status, because we have fetched those data inside $row variable, not inside our database $result. Okay, so $row status will be equal 1. If the status is 1, then we can actually let them log in and all these things will happen. But if it does not actually if the status is not 1, instead it is 0, then we will actually show them another else condition and show a message that their account need to be verified. So let me write again. I think I have missed one parenthesis here, but I will just check it after running that code, after writing all these things. Let me just write this one properly now. So inside the else condition, we need to actually write it like this, and then here we need to change this one to an alert. The alert message will say that verify your email address by OTP before login. Okay, so let me just refresh this page. So there is an end of file error, so that means I have actually missed one of the parentheses, so let me add this after all of them. Okay, now this is alright. If we actually try to log in again, let me check their password. Okay, so the password is 344, then login. Okay, you can see that verify your email address by OTP, and we are not actually inside the student profile page. That means we have not actually registered here. Sorry, we have not logged in properly because our status is still 0. And now we are going to create our verify page. So inside this verify page, we need to actually have a form, simply a form to actually create some option for sending that OTP. Let me just register this person again after deleting the record from database with a proper email, so that they will receive the OTP via their email. And a random phone number again. Okay, you can see this is the actually our verified table, and here you can see the OTP. Okay, the OTP is actually 24. This is 2-digit because we have not changed the range in this registration page. So now this time if we actually register again, we will get a 5-digit OTP. And now let's modify our verify.php page. Here the style will have a background color, and let's add the background color. I have already prepared one, so I will just add this one, hash 00695C. And after this one, you can see this color properly here. Now we are going to create a form in this portion, but before that let's add a div class. So the class name will be box1. So we can add some styling after the title. There we need to add some styling, but we can actually copy them from some page. Let me just open the login page and then copy this box1 style, because our form will look similar to the one inside our login page. So this one is the form, box, but we don't need to actually add the background color black, or the width and height will be actually a bit smaller, and the padding will be on the top position only. It will be 200 pixel. And now here we are going to create a form. The method will be post. Input will be text, and then name will be OTP. the class will be the form control class with the bootstrap class name here, required field, and then the placeholder will have enter the OTP here written inside it. So after refreshing, you can see this form field here. I will just change some styling for this class box 1, and before that we need to actually add some heading here. I will just use h2 tag here, enter the OTP, and now after this one we are going to add a button also that will say verify. Let's add a break, and here we are going to add class that will be btn and btn default. Then we are going to add the type that will be submit, and then there will be a name for this button, and that will also be submit but underscore v, that is for verifying. So we are adding a v after this so that it does not overlap with any other button name that is probably submit. We have created many button with that name, that is why I'm just using a underscore v after this submit name, button name. So here the input style will have a width of 300 pixel and a height will be 50 pixel. Let me just add pixel. Okay, and now here you can see, and I have also added a font weight for this verify, that is why you are actually seeing this in a bold form. So now we are going to check if the button is pressed or not inside the PHP code. So if is set $_post submit, now here we are going to actually check the check if the OTP is similar to the one that is inside our database for this username, and here we will actually count them also. So the initially ver1 variable 1 is actually 0, so here variable 2 will be our query mysqli underscore query, and then here $db comma we need to give the query for matching them. So let's select the data, select star from student, verify, and after this we are going to actually check for them. As you know that we will actually delete those OTP code after 1 or 2 days, so that means that there will not be very actually huge amount of data inside the table. So we can actually check all those data inside the select query, and we cannot actually check for a particular person because we have not given any username inside that OTP field or inside this form. If you want to, you can actually give it, like you can create another input field to actually fill the data for username. Then you can actually search by using that username inside that query. That will be also easier. We are going after if the OTP actually matches with the OTP for that student actually inside that database, then we are going to update the status to 1 with the username that is beside that OTP, and we will update this inside the student table, not inside the verify table. So inside the student table the status will turn 1 where the username will be equal to $row username. And then after this one we are going to actually save this, and then if they actually find some value that matches the OTP, then we will actually turn the value of verification variable by 1. It will be incremented by 1. And if it is not incremented, that means if the variable 1 variable is actually verification 1 variable is equal to 0, okay, so we are going to give it like this. If it is 1, then we are going to send them back to the login page. So header, location, then a colon, and here we are sending them to the login.php page. As this is both this login page and the verify page is inside the library folder, we are not using any other sign before this page name. And if the verification one variable is equal to 0, that means there no OTP has matched with the value inside our database or table, so that means wrong OTP is given. So we are going to send them a message that shows wrong OTP given. Try again. So let me just give a wrong OTP, and you can see this message here. So I'm going to give this as alert instead of echo. So I can just copy this portion here and add it here. This will be actually wrong OTP given. Try again. Now if we actually do this again, you can see this alert saying here. So we are going to give the proper OTP this time and see if the student status turned from 0 to 1. So 24, then click on verify. We are actually inside our login page, and if we refresh, you can see the status turns to 1. And what we need to do is we need to send this OTP to the email. So after we have saved that OTP inside the database, we will just send them an email to the email address that they have written inside the registration form. So inside the registration page, again we are here. If the mail is sent, then we will actually show this location here, or we will take them to the verify page. And if the email is not sent, then we will actually tell them by writing another else condition here after this if condition ends. Let me just copy this else condition and paste it after this if condition ends. Now let me modify this. Email not sent. So now we are going to give this variable. So the $2 variable will be actually the variable this one, $_post email. Here will be a single quotation mark inside this parenthesis. So after this one, the subject, we will give simply here OTP, and we need to actually send message and $from variable. I'll just copy this one from the previous code. If you have not actually seen the code for the configuration of XAMPP, how you can send the message using the SMTP, then you need to actually watch the previous videos over the email, how to send email, the first part actually, that is inside, I think it was in part 55. And here you can see the message, hello, your OTP code is this. You need to write that like this, and here I'm just making the query a comment because I don't need to register them again. And here we need to go to the registration.php, then select the student option, and then we are going to give the same data that is actually here, and I need to give it a proper email address so that this email reach the user. The username already exists, so that means the registration is not done, but we already have that data inside our database. So we are receiving that OTP here properly. You can see we are just going to copy this one and paste that OTP, then verify. Okay, wrong OTP is given. That is actually happening due to, let me just show you again. If I paste it here, you can see that there is a space after all these digits, and that is happening because inside our database you will see that we have given the type of this OTP as character type, and due to this if there is a space, they will consider it as a character too, and that is why we are getting that error, because our OTP does not have any character, as we have generated only numbers, but as we are giving the characters inside the form, we will actually get some error. Now you can see that the status has turned from 0 to 1 this time again. and also we have received that email inside our email address properly. So that means our verification has been done, and we are redirected to the login page. Also, we can now log in with the help of this data that has been created actually. Okay, thank you.